A huge thank you to Robert Bishop for sponsoring today's video on Patreon. Szarel Genesis Shepherd versus Zer the Enchanter, Lord Winggrace, and Ragos Deft Gastronaut. Well, that's a good amount of mana, so we're not going to struggle on that this game, definitely keep. And we draw into Tifa as well, which is hopefully going to do some damage, so let's get going with the mana. Sol Ring, and we'll just slam down the Black Blade Reforged again straight away to buff our commander and distribute even more plus counters. There's a Sol Ring for Lord Winggrace as well, so the two Jundlands Matter decks are going off. Now, do we start to try and go off really quickly? Icetill Explorer is nice for next turn. I was debating whether even to get down a land drop this turn to save on Landfall, but now that we've got this and a fetch, we definitely do. So get down at the Lotus Cobra, followed by the fetch. This will add a mana twice, once upon entry and once upon the landfall of the land that we go and search for, that is. Our commander is 5, so do we go for Nature's Law here and then in for Aftermath Analyst, or maybe Tifa to draw some hate from our opponents? Go for the Mortuary, add green mana with the Cobra, and Gladiolus will just keep on top of the library. We're about to shuffle anyway, so Nature's Law, and get down another tap land. That can be the Commercial District this time. And once again, adding green mana with the Lotus Cobra. And loot. Yeah, I suppose we can keep loot on top, seeing as how it's going to be an additional land for us with a fetch and playing from the graveyard available. So it can be Tifa Lockhart, and hopefully she can become a threat soon enough. Turn 1 Sol Ring is good apparently. You heard it here first. Roiling Regrowth, going to be the first means of land sacrificing. We've got that in this deck as well. So could be seen the Planeswalker enter play next turn. A Dimir Signet for the Esper player. And we know that we're drawing into loot, so let's go for the Icetill Explorer first, so that we can make multiple lands a turn. And play the Verdant Catacombs, which will make mana for us. It will double the power and toughness of Tifa, which we have seen on the channel. She's good enough on her own, but when you start piling plus counters on her, she's an absolute threat. Mill with Icetill Explorer, a Pitiless Carnage, and then if we crack the Catacombs for another tap land, we can fix our green and black mana with a Raucous Theatre, and that will add the third piece of mana that we need for loot and allow us another landfall for the turn, meaning that we're getting even further ahead of our opponents. Orcish Lumberjack milled this time, and we see a Chaos Warp on top. It doesn't really matter because I'll leave it in the library, but we're going to shuffle anyway, unless we want to just leave the Verdant Catacombs in play, which I might do actually, because we can't afford the Black Blade Reforged unless we went for... yeah, I suppose we could go for an untapped land and equip the Black Blade Reforged, but it's going to really hurt our plan if we end up having our graveyard exiled while it's got the fetch in it, so I don't think I'll try that hard here. Tifa currently an 8-2, so I'll just leave it there. A board wipe's going to hurt us. Going to turn everything in at the Esper player. He's more likely to have control pieces, pillow fort stuff and all that. We may well see a board wipe during the next turn cycle. And Ragos comes down to play on turn 3. A doubling season before the Lord Winggrace comes down. Although it's noteworthy that that's 11, so it actually doesn't come down with the limit break straight away. Once you have doubling season in play, you can ultimate a lot of Planeswalkers as soon as they enter play, thanks to the double loyalty. But this would only enter with 10, thankfully. So now, time to see if Zer has that board wipe for us. Nope, that's Zer the Enchanter. So I think it's safe to assume that none of our opponents have a board wipe. They might have gone for it there to stop us from going off. Another fetch for us is very good. So it's time to get the Szarel going. And we want to get Black Blade Reforged on there as soon as we can, so we're just going to have to crack a fetch into that first. And I'm going to choose to put counters on Tifa because we might be able to knock someone out here. As try hard as it is, this is the great start that we had thanks to a lack of removal and fast mana. So Tifa now a 3-4 thanks to the plus counters and about to get her power doubled. And now with the 3 mana available, we've got a couple of land drops to make for the turn yet. We can go for equipping onto the Szarel. This doesn't care about plus counters, it cares about its power, which is currently a 7-10 now, so it will put 7 plus counters onto Tifa if we decide to go that route. Milled a basic off the insect, Icetail Explorer, play a fetch again, and whilst Tifa's trigger is on the stack, I'm going to crack the Verdant Catacombs. A land going into the bin is what triggers our commander, so let's put the plus counters on her before she gets her power doubled. So now she is a 13-11, and she's going to see the Verdant Catacombs land, or the land from Verdant Catacombs hit play, I should say. Try and be careful with my wording. So 2 Tifa triggers on the stack. Mill with Icetail Explorer again is Korvold, and she doubles first up to a 26-11 with Trample. And then upon the second resolution, a 52-11 with Trample, so we can take out anyone we like here. Who do we take out is the question. I think I might want to surprise my opponents with Aftermath Analyst. So let's get that fetch out of the bin. And that's going to be more mana for us. I'm just wondering if to activate loot or not. I suppose we have to now that we've got the floating mana. So Tifa going to get doubled up even further. And we mill a Terra Symbiosis. Let's get some more plus counters elsewhere as well. We do have another land to make after this. So crack Verdant Catacombs to trigger the commander. Put counters on the Lotus Cobra. Tifa is now a 104-11. And we can get a Blood Crypt into play tapped. Making mana with Lotus Cobra, doubling up Tifa, more mill from the Explorer. And there's a demo field that I think I'll get into play here. The permanent has to be sacrificed on our turn, so yeah, holding up a fetch on an opponent's turn doesn't necessarily matter. We'll just grab the demolition field just in case it's of any relevance this game. And we could crack the demolition field to grab a basic just for the sake of getting more plus counters on something, piling up the damage while we've got it before there's a Wrath. But I think I'd rather just go for loot here. So there we see Kami of Whispered Hopes and a Scouring Swarm. Let's go for the Swarm because I've never played with it before. Should have gone for the fetch over the demolition field really, but I was trying to protect this against graveyard hate like I said. So we could be piling on more damage with plus counters on the Icetail Explorer. I'm going to continue to bully the Esper player unfortunately, because I just don't trust that he won't have some means of getting rid of our commander with a pacifism effect. It could be that we go down to some kind of Planeswalker emblem. We shall just have to see. But now that there's all those plus counters on Tifa, it shouldn't be too difficult to be one-shotting players out of the game, assuming they can't do anything about us. Okay, and this player just decides to scoop. Yeah, I don't know if he thought he was going down there. Yep, that causes a chain reaction. Our opponents don't fancy their odds of drawing into Wraths off the top, apparently. I'm going to show you all this one anyway. If this is the only game that you see, then apologies. I'm trying to get 2 weeks worth of videos in a very short space of time because I'm on holiday soon, so want to keep the content flowing. But if there is any further interest with Szarel, and this is the game that you see, then let me know in the comments section and I'll try and get another one out for you. Big thank you to the patrons and apologies to my opponents. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.